Okay, thank you. Let me confirm that you people can hear me very well.
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Thank you.
Okay,
let me share and we proceed. Are you able to see the PPT?
Put it in the presentation mode.
Okay, let me just open it first. Yes. And then I put on presentation mode. Is that okay now?
Yes, it is now on the presentation mode. Now, before you proceed,
okay.
Here is a few instruction. You have got 10 minutes for presentation, and then you have 5 minutes for question and answers. So please, you can start now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. My name's Simaya Lado James. I'm from South Sudan and a PhD student for public health at Yesbad University. And I'm very happy to do the second presentation of my proposal. And the proposal reads perceptions and attitudes of policymakers, biomedical personnel on the integration of traditional healers into the South Sudan national healthcare delivery system. This study will focus on two major counties, which is Yei River County and Juba County. Juba County is where the capital of South Sudan is based in central Equatoria State. The background to the study is we find that traditional medicines has been really widely spread and has been recognized by WHO. But according to when you look at the Almata conferences on primary health care in 1978, it actually deliberated on issues on integrating the traditional medicine into the national health care system. However, countries like South Sudan are still do not have it, and we find that despite its recognitions, there's still a gap in integrating. And what is the problem? Why I'm trying to do this study? Why do I need to do this study? And we say that South Sudan, as one of the youngest country in the world, is actually struggling with the serious issues, especially in the rural areas where biomedical health system is not really equipped. And most of the communities are getting health services through the traditional medical system. We find that despite these challenges, the traditional medicine has been widely spread, but it has not been recognized by the country government or the country health system. So we are trying to look at how the perceptions, exactly what is the perception of these policymakers and the medical personnel towards the integration. The purpose of this study is to explore the perception and attitude of policymakers and the biomedical staff towards the integration. So I really wanted to know what is their thinking when we talked about this integration, because by understanding this perspective, it may help in contributing the policymaker to make an informed decision, because you find people are moving for traditional medicine instead of coming to the modern healthcare system. And challenges are very huge because there are a lot of issues to deal with the accessibility. People are not accessing the modern health sector. So we are trying to look at this percent. So what do they think when we are to integrate the traditional healer into the modern healthcare system? The research question that this study will look at is to determine, one, the perception of these key stakeholders. The key stakeholders that we had are the policymakers at the Ministry of Health in the Republic of South Sudan. We look at the medical personnel. What is their perception if we are to integrate this? And then we have to look at the traditional healers themselves. What is their perceptions? And then we look at the fourth stage is the community that really receive, who normally go for this traditional healer. What are their perceptions? And this research question, this research objectives is actually focusing on this. And then at the end of the day, when we study the perception, then this objective of this study is to propose, based on the finding, to propose a model for the integration of traditional healers into the healthcare system. So this model will come out of the finding from the four objectives. And then the research will be able to design a model for integration that fit this country. As I talked about, the research questions are already there. What are the significance? Why is this study important? We say this study is very important is for the policymakers in the government of South Sudan to get their benefit, and also to see the challenges that are associated with the integration of this healthcare system, these traditional healers into the healthcare system. Two, we have to look at the comprehensive understanding of the attitude of the biomedical. What are the challenges? Because here they are looking at safety, efficacy, and the cultural relevance of the traditional medicine into the healthcare system. So we need to look at, when we study this, we are able to understand, to get that significant. Also, the research will be able to look at the barriers that actually hinder the facilitation. And this study will focus on three major theories. One is the socio-ecological theory that will be used, and this theory state about health and healthcare decisions are being influenced by interplay factors. Actually, the policymaker decisions are being employed by multiple factors, and this can be individual, can be the beliefs of people, the policymakers towards traditional medicine. It can be through the attitude of the policymakers who are decision makers towards traditional medicine. So we have to look at this. And then the planned behavior theory. And this theory focus on the intention of shaping the three key factors, like the behavior, what is the collaboration, what are the subjective norm of the policymakers, what are the subjective norm of these key stakeholders, the traditional medicine, the traditional healers, and the community. And then the stakeholders theory will be focusing on bringing all the key stakeholders for us to achieve this integration process. So we have to look at the policymakers, traditional medicine, the traditional healer themselves, the communities, and then we have to look at the medical personnel, the four stakeholders that are involved in the integration, if the integration is going to be successful. So the study will focus on these three theories. The conceptual framework. Here, we are looking at the dependent variables and the independent variables that can affect this. So the independent variables in this study could be the policymakers' perception, which we talked about the regulations and the policies, the trainings that the policy will increase, the certifications of this traditional, and even the financing for funding the integration. And then under the biomedical personnel, we look at the communication aspect between the medical personnel and the communities, and the traditional healers. We look at the quality of care under this perception. And then the services standard that are being provided and the knowledge of the biomedical personnel towards traditional medicine. And then the other independent variable look at the community perception, where the satisfaction comes in about the community. Are they satisfied with the service being provided by the traditional healers? Do they have the knowledge of the integration? what are their preferences. And then finally, we look at the contextual perspective because South Sudan is really a diverse country. And then this research will also look at the contextual perspective, like rural and urban. How is the connection between the rural and the urban in terms of integration? And then you look at the gender, the age, which age group normally goes for traditional healers, which gender normally goes for this, and also aspect to do with the religion. And then when we sum all these are contributing factors that, when addressed, can be able to improve traditional healer integration, where we shall have access to health and quality of services delivery. That become our dependent variable, according to this study. What are the literatures? The study will focus on literature to look at policymakers' perceptions, especially the one done by Pinkhorn and Kure in 2010 and other researchers. The biomedical perception, the literature will also look at that. What are perception of the biomedical in other countries towards this? And what are the perceptions of the traditional healers towards the integration compared to other countries? And then now we go to the methodology. How am I going to receive this to get the data? This study will focus on the following methodologies. One, the research design will be mixed meta, where both qualitative and the quantitative. Remember, we are collecting that based on perception, and that the data will be more of qualitative, getting inside feelings of these key stakeholders. And then data will be gathered through interviews and question and the survey. And then, as I talked, the geographical locations will look at the Juba County and Yei River County. The sample size will be 384 respondents. And this will be categorized as 20 for policymakers, and then 50 for biomedical personnel, and then 20 for traditional healers, and the 290 for the 294 for the community members. The community members are selected because they are the most affected people who go for traditional medicine. So we need to get their views towards if we are to integrate this and what model is very important for them to accept. So the study will be focusing on this. Data will be analyzed, quantitative data will be analyzed through SPSS software. However, since the data will be more of a qualitative, and then the data will be analyzed using based on the thematic areas. What are the inclusion criteria? All adult male and female will also be included. People who has consent can be involved. Policymakers in the Ministry of Health, traditional healers, biomedical personnel, and the community members who reside in Juba County and Yei River County will be part of this study. So the exclusion criteria will look at those who are not willing will be excluded, and those who are not consented, those people under 18 years, those are considered like children, so they will not be involved in the study. Thank you. That's the brief presentation of my proposal, and I'm here to wait for comments. Thank you. Hello.
Hello, thank you,
James,
Mr.
can I?
James, for
James, can I?
presentation. Yes, please come through.
Yeah, can you go to the first slide?
Come again?
Can you just? Yeah, can you go to the first slide?
Which slide? Number?
First number one. I just want to see the topic. I missed your topic.
Okay. Let me go to the topic.
Yeah. Okay. Perception and attitude towards policymakers, biomedical personnel on the integration of traditional healers into South of Sudan. So basically, you are trying to analyze the current practices and how the policies are being made in relation to medical personnels in Sudan, right? If I'm not wrong. And that is
Yes,
why you
South
have,
Sudan. In
yeah,
South
yeah. So,
Sudan.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now my question for this is, because this is something which is beautiful and should be taken care of. Why?
Yeah.
Because people are moving towards allopathic. People are moving towards modern medicines. But yes, people are not ready to leave. Certain sects of people are not ready to leave their traditional medicines. And that is why this is a question in your mind that what should be the combination. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes. And for this, you have taken certain questions wherein you want to know how what is the perception of people towards these traditional and modern ones. Yes.
Yes, that is already one of the
Now,
objectives. It
now
has been
my
covered.
one question. Yeah, I have seen your
Yes.
sampling. I have no questions related to your research methodology, but I have
Mm.
one question. Are
Mm-hmm.
you interested, because you are taking quantitative and qualitative data both?
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, will you be comfortable enough to have a focused user group interviews and panel discussions to support your study?
Yes, I will be interested to have focus group with the communities and
Now,
the
where
key
I need,
informant for the policymakers.
yeah, now where what I want in that is, the question is about the focus user group in your study. If
Mm-hmm.
you are taking focus user group and you are taking policymakers into that, you are taking the traditional medicinal practices and you are taking the modern medicinal practices, and
Mm-hmm.
then recording that video, recording that panel discussion, and
Mm-hmm.
then coming up with a solution where the 3 point communities are coming together. Is
Mm-hmm.
it in your is it in your mind that you will be supporting your data with this
In my mind, because I'm yet present a proposal and I'm ready to take
proposal?
comments.
That is, yeah, that is why I'm asking you. Is it in your mind that you will be doing something like this?
In my mind, recording is not part of it, but
Yeah.
only getting the discussion and then and the
Wha-
also
Now,
yeah,
yes.
voice
Why
recording is
I
not part of
Yeah.
the discussion. Yeah.
Now, why I'm telling you to record all this,
Mm-hmm.
because when you'll be talking to them, when you'll be taking a scheduled questionnaire for them, it will be
Mm-hmm.
certain set of standard questions that are over there. But
Okay.
when you go for focused user group,
Mm-hmm.
there would be certain questions which will arise thereon related to the answers which we are getting from the different sections.
Okay.
So that would be a beautiful thing. Why? Because it will be giving you so much thematic points for your research that you could have a heat map and present your work in a very beautiful and a strong opinion based solutions.
Thank you very much.
So this is
Noted.
what I had in mind. So I don't know whether it is feasible for you, because 384 is a big number. You'll be using, I think, SEM. You'll be using SLS also. The
Mm-hmm.
structural equation methods you will be using to give the model. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, seems a good study. But my suggestion would be, please go through the studies of homeopathy, which is a Indian one. Why? Because that is also a traditional way to just support your study, that it is not in just South Sudan, but throughout the world, that there is a difference and there is a difference of opinion among the world about
Mm-hmm.
traditional and modern medicines practices.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Right? So nice. I hope you do a great job. I hope to see your final presentation. That would be
Thank you.
nice. Right. So, any questions you have in your mind, I'm open there.
Yes. Thank you very much. I think I'm really very interested to learn because if I can get a very perfect supervisor who can help me I think I can develop a very good document because I really have the passion to do this.
I think you have a supervisor who is supervising you. I don't know about that, but it is the management who has to take care of.
Yes.
But yes, I thank Mr. Joseph, who gave me an opportunity to listen to your work and give my small suggestions to enhance your research.
Thank you. That will be so much. I just need support from the university, and I can be able to develop a very good findings. Yeah.
Sure. No problems. No problems. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, James.
Thank you.
Another comment, please. Another comment or contribution?
Am I audible to you? Hello, am I audible to you?
Yes, you are audible. I can hear you.
Yeah, this is Dr. Amin from India. So, as Dr. Gupta mentioned that the title and the work which is supposed to be conducted by you is really, it is appreciated that you have selected the beautiful topic where we are going to discuss the traditional aspect of medicine, traditional aspects of, we can say, healing. But I have some thing here what I want to mention here. Could you please take me to your methodology part?
Okay, let me go to the methodology.
Yeah. First from the first start from the objectives. Go to the objectives
Objectives?
first.
Okay,
Yes,
let me go to the objectives. These are just questions. Yeah. Objectives.
Yes, determine the perception. Uh, okay. You are going to use both qualitative as well as quantitative research design to conduct your research, is it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. James, I would like to know that which you are going to collect the data through questionnaire or through interview schedule. What methods
Come
you are
again?
going to collect? Yes, what methods you are going to use for collection of data from the respondents?
Okay.
Which method you are going to use?
Yeah,
You are going to
I
use
said,
both. Yes.
as I mentioned in the methodology, this study is going to use a mixed method where both qualitative and the quantitative data will be collected from the respondent. And one of these qualitative, especially the focus group discussions, that can be used with some of the community members. Whole survey will be used, and then a key informant interview will also be used for the policymakers, because this number of people is not big. They are targeted as around 20 who can cover both the two counties. So we are going to use the key informant interview, the survey method for the households, and then focus group discussions. Yeah, that can easily be used to collect both qualitative and quantitative.
Yes, you are going to use interview method and survey method. So for interview, it will be focused interview, or you are open to have the we can say that open-ended conversation with the respondents. And the second thing is survey. For survey, you are going to make a survey schedule by yourself, or you are going to use any standard tool as a survey method.
I'm going to use a questionnaire as the standard tool method, and this questionnaire will be both close-ended and some question will be open-ended to get the insight of the thinking of the respondent.
So you are going to construct the questionnaire by yourself?
Yes.
So yes, so one of the question here come in my mind that there you need to check the reliability as well as validity of that questionnaire when you are going to develop your own. So standardization is required. Kindly have a look on it when you go to develop the tool. Be cautious to check its standardization. Okay, to check its reliability as well as validity, so we can validate the data. The data, whatever we are going to collect, will be appropriate. The second thing, uh, once you collected the data from the respondents through interview method, as you mentioned that you are going to use SPSS for collection for analysis of data, which you collect in the form of quantitative analysis. For that, you are going to use SPSS. Okay, because the survey will be there, survey schedule will be there. However, for qualitative part, I will suggest three important things. One, kindly use thematic analysis, narrative analysis, and one important is phenomenological analysis. So they will help you to understand the basic concept and we can say that the depth information can be collected. Once you use a phenomenological analysis, it will help you to understand the experience as well as the perception, what your objectives, what your title is supposed to. So your perception, you can collect, you can assess, or you can get the perception from the respondents by using the phenomenological analysis. Okay, three
Okay.
important things: phenomenological analysis, content and this thematic analysis and narrative analysis. You need to go for the qualitative data. So I will also suggest some softwares like NVivo is there. Okay, and Vivo software can be used for analyzing the qualitative data. For quantitative, you can use SPSS, where as Dr. Gupta already mentioned that structured equation modeling is supposed. Even you can use the different like inferential statistics or where you can check what is the perception of the people, how many go to the different levels. Okay, so these are important things you should keep in your mind
Okay.
when you start the work for we can say that for conducting. So the
Thank you.
model, yes, because you are also supposing to give the model. That model is only and only possible when you have the depth understanding about your topic. So there obviously yes, both qualitative as well as quantitative method will help you. And I hope that you will do the things in appropriate way and will help the support and will help the researchers further and will provide, we can say, the integrated model for other researchers. Your findings will support, obviously it will support the policymakers, not only the policymakers but we can say the general masses, so they can their perception, whatever it will be, because perception is subjective. So what the perception will be, and obviously we can highlight these things, particularly in light of the study area. This is one.
Thank,
Second, kindly go to the methodology part.
I go to the methodology.
Yes, methodology part, where you talk about the different sampling. Yes.
Yeah.
You're talking about the appropriate sample size at 384 as suggested by we can say the scientists or we can say researchers. But here, when you distribute the sampling size for PM, BM, and TS, it is very less as compared to CM. I mean, I know the reason behind why you choose the more sample size from CM community. It is a community workers, CM.
The CM is the community members, because as I said, this research will focus on 4 stakeholders.
What is the PM?
Based on the stakeholders theory. The PM is the policy makers.
Okay, policy makers, yes.
P is the policy makers, because these people are not many, and these are 2 counties, and mostly they will be collected from the capital, where the Ministry of Health is. That is my main target, to target the policymakers at the Ministry of Health. And basically, these people are not many, and the questionnaire will use is the key informant. And then the BM are the biomedical personnel, the medical doctors who are working in the health facilities. So possibly I picked them to be 50, that they will be able to get the perceptions. And then the TH are the traditional healers. So this will also be a key informant for the traditional healer, because we can, it is really very hard to get over 100 traditional healer, because they are not even registered in the country. So I said I should get a purpose sampling of getting 20 traditional healers, 20 policy makers, and 50 biomedical personnel. And then the community members, these are in the households, will be 290, because these are the most people who really go for traditional medicine.
Okay. So, but I have the concern that this biomedical members and traditional healers will be more appropriate, because they will provide more important as well as huge information about your topic. So I suggest kindly increase the number, because biomedical
Dr.
people.
Amit, can I include? Can I include?
Yes.
We need to find. Yeah, we need to find what is this total universe before we want to go in this, because I don't think so. He has a big number of universe. He doesn't have a big number of universe of traditional practitioners, because he's using the formula of Fisher. He's not using Cron. He's not using Cron. He's not using Yaman. He's not using Siddiqui. So he's very specifically using Fisher's formula for the sampling. So we need to be very careful, because I think he missed out about the universe. What is the universe of that is being in question?
PM, BM, and TH.
Yes. PM, BM, TH. Because you are perfectly right, because the CM is not the right person to talk to. They will just give an opinion that whether they feel good or bad. But it is the practitioners who will be the right person to give you. Policy makers are helping them.
Okay.
That I'm talking about, sir. BM and TH should be, because they will help us to get the things more clear, because they are directly involved in it. Even what I feel when I go for that, we can say that if I am having any type of problem, I visit the doctor, he prescribes some medicine, I say okay or not okay, but what actually the depth information can be collected from these people. As sir mentioned, kindly have a look on it. You should have the proper sample. Population.
Yes. We need to have a clear picture of the universe that he is talking about.
Okay. So if I can ask you, in this, you advise that I increase the number of the medical personnel, the biomedical personnel, instead from 50, because those are the major people that are involved in this study, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
BM and PH.
That would be better. That would be better. Please find out the total number of practitioners, if possible, and then use the formula that you are using. That will give you a clear picture of what your respondent should be like.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. These was my observations also. So I hope that in your we can say that upcoming whatever the seminar or this presentation, you will incorporate all the suggestions given by sir and me, and obviously we are here to help you out. So it is done from my side. if you have any doubt or any question, I'm open for it.
Yeah, I just have one question on your suggestion. Your suggestion are noted, and they are having an insight. My challenge is on the TH, the traditional healers. We really have a lot of traditional healers, but because South Sudan is still a new country, there has not been a policy on the regulation of this, and even the number of registered traditional healers within the country is still unknown. How are we going to determine the universe of these traditional healers numbers, just from your experience?
Yeah, yes. Can you collect it there? How many people are registered traditionalists? Is there any number, any we can say that
They are
registration
not
that this
registered. Actually,
they
the
are not
country has not registered even traditional healer. This research, if it becomes successful, will have a lot of value because there are a lot of things missing within the new country.
Please try to find out. That is what we are looking forward, so that your
Okay.
study becomes very strong.
Okay. Thank you.
Let
the hidden
me
things
let
can
me
come.
let me also comment on the same. Basically, the traditional healers are not registered in most countries, but these traditional healers, they have got their own associations. They have got their own groups. If you happen to approach one or two, they will refer you to their leaders within themselves. Okay. And then within themselves, they have got a certain component which is linked to the Ministry of Health. It either through chiefs or through their independent association. This is my experience in Zambia, Malawi, Tanzania, Uganda. Yes. So I believe even in South Sudan,
Yeah.
there should be that component. So we are going to try to see how we are going to help you as an institution. We write to the Ministry of Health officially as a school so that they can help out on this study. But what you do is yourself take interest. This is a very serious study, and you keep on the presentation, presenting your study, not until we know to say it fit to be where it's supposed to be, because this study is unique in the sense that there have been less studies on this topic. And sometimes back in Zambia, UNESCO sponsored release some fund to the University of Zambia so that they can undertake the similar study where they wanted to know, I think it's a link between witchcraft and I think I'm not so sure what they wanted to find out, but the fund was released. Now this study didn't go further because there were negativity, and then the university was called all those sorts of names. To say your friend are studying about technology, AI, you are studying about witchcraft. So the study didn't go further because of the negativity. But there is still interest from the global community to know and understand what's really happening. So we are going to help you as an institution. We'll try everything that we can So I know it's very difficult even to approach the traditional healers.
Yes, yes, yes.
But you approach them in the academic way, they may think that maybe government is trying to find means and ways to stop them. They may even run away from you. So we really need to sit down and see how best we can approach these traditional healers. But trust me, they have got their own component. It's either through the chiefs or through their own associations. So even there, you could also include chiefs.
Yeah.
Why have I said chiefs? Because this is what happened in a society like Africa. If there is an incident of witchcraft in nature, government approach chiefs to say people are dying here because of the community are saying there's something which killing the community. Government approach the chiefs, and then the chiefs sit down with government, and then the chief use traditional way to determine what is happening and give a report. So I don't think you can left out the chiefs here, because to some extent, chiefs are also considered to be traditional. I don't know if this is, you don't see that in your country, but in other countries, chiefs are considered to be traditional healers. And then we just give them respect because they are chiefs. But for those who are closer to the chiefs, they don't even consult the traditional healers, they consult the chief. And in certain areas and countries, it's the chief who do the work. And in an event where the chief thinks is more superior or maybe is busy, we appoint the traditional healers. Try to investigate this information that I'm giving you. It's not from South Sudan. I'm just getting it from another country. But I believe some of the similarities within Africa.
Yeah. This is noted, Doctor. Actually, in the ship, I have just done a general that the ship will be included among the community members. So, based on your discussions, I think I can still figure out to remove the ship from the community members and some specific questionnaire. But I've combined them under the 290 under the community members.
Okay, I think I believe you can put them separately.
Yeah.
And find the time to approach 2 or 3 chiefs.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one that I'll share with you one of my studies. I did a study by World Bank sometimes back. And then even though that study was trying to assess how government and traditional healers, the chiefs, can cooperate, whereby I wanted to find the best way where government and the chiefs, they can communicate, and they had an opportunity to meet not less than 500 chiefs. Now, I think with chiefs, based on my experience, we don't go and see the chief empty-handed. I don't know if it is the same in your country. Even though you are being sent by anyone, even though I was going there with invitation, the government have to make an invitation. We need to buy something for them as a tradition of the country. So first you have to present them the gift, and then the gift can be anything, like, because the study was highly funded, we used to buy them a lot of expensive gifts so that we can get the authentic data from them. So even within your area, you can try to find means and ways of approaching 2 or 3 chiefs. Of course, if we need for the support from the institution, we'll be able to support you. Basically, what we do is before you approach any institution, you have to inform the university, and then the university have to officially write to that institution. Can it be government, traditional eras, government, any association? We introduce you there.
Yeah.
Student, VCD, you want to find out from my VCD. We make it official to avoid suspicious. So find time to meet the chiefs, and the main objective of meeting the chiefs is to find out what are the association for the traditional era. Does this traditional era has a link with government? Where do they report? They have any group, and then the chief will give you those information. And then from there, we need also to, this is what I'm thinking. Of course, I have to discuss with the management, because this study is unique on its own. I'm thinking to say the next presentation, we need to invite either 1 or 2 from your proposal, so that they can also give you some insights. Because, for example, medical personnel, those people, they also need to put their input at this stage. Because if you just approve it for you to go the next stage, and then you find yourself at the final presentation, and then of course at that stage we invite people from Ministry of Health, we invite experts from traditional eras. If you don't have those experts in your country, we invite them from other countries, and then they'll be asking you questions that you fail to answer because you didn't address those at the early stage. So, so that we address some of these few concerns, because this study is unique and new. Also, try also to sample other countries. Those countries, one of them is India. You know, India, that's where they make medicine. Country that you feel they make medicine, try to find out how those medicines are made. You may find yourself to say some of the materials which are being used there are local medicine, like trees, leaves, and roots. After getting those information, and then you in the right position to get some data from there. The fact that this is a PhD, you expect to have a lot of at the final presentation if we haven't addressed these or issues at early stage. Why have I said so? I have said so because, you know, these other topics are very unique. You know, you can find data everywhere. You can even manipulate other students, they even manipulate other stuff from other studies, but you find that yours, there are few studies which has been done. So basically, these are my comments. So let me summarize my comment. The first thing is we need to find means and ways to meet these traditional healers. And one of them is through chiefs, even approaching themselves. If you interview them, talk to them in a very nice and the proper way, they will be able to open to you and tell you this association, even the Ministry of Health, they have a component within themselves which should be able to look after these these uh, these uh, these uh, these uh, these uh, these traditional healers. For example, in the case of Zambia, they call themselves tapas. Those are initials. I don't know what it means exactly. They've got their own association. They call themselves tapas, and that tapas is a component in the software. So on the next presentation, we're going to find means and ways so that we can invite one from the traditional healers, from association from other countries, just to come and give you some expertise because they belong on those fields. In as much as we are going to give you that the supervisor, of course, that supervisor in India, and then this study is a typical local study where you need some local information. So the PhD from, your supervisor from India will give you the standard way, give you the advice, but they may not really know or understand what happens. Because like here in Africa, we do have a situation where, for example, if people, just give you an example, I heard this from one of the countries, I don't know if it's Western Africa. People, when they go and fetch water in a certain river, everyone were dying. And no one knew what was happening. So the government tried to do all those studies, couldn't find any. So the government engaged traditional healers. And then the traditional healers, they did what they did and they addressed the issue. So we are trying by all means to give you as many as possible course supervisors who may happen local supervisors. The main supervisor, of course, will be from India for guidance on the standard way of writing any scientific paper. But for the technical how, we also need some core local supervisors who understand about traditional medicine, witchcraft, because here in Africa, once we just mention about this topic, what comes in mind is witchcraft. Am I lying?
You are not lying. You are correct. Even when I'm interacting with my colleagues, they say, how are you going to interview this witchcraft? You want to become a witchcraft? A lot of issues coming. Yeah.
Basically, there is a lot of negativity on this topic. You also try to search, there's Google, it can help you. Try to search the similar study from UNESCO at University of Zambia. It was sponsored by UNESCO, but I know the study couldn't go further because of that. Because even students stop enrolling at the university, they're saying, you guys, you are not studying witchcraft. Instead of teaching people technology, AI, artificial intelligence, now you're teaching people witchcraft. So you try to also book that study was there. Because of negativity, that study couldn't proceed. So it's a very good topic, according to me. Very good topic.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I really appreciate the support.
Yeah, we're going to try by all means to help you how best we can. We can, more especially on the initial state. Yeah. So next session, I believe we need to officially invite some expert from Ministry of Health, some expert from in Zambia, they call themselves tapas. They call themselves a very sweet name. You can't even think of as if they are traditional healers. And then the problem is most of these, they don't understand English, but their associations, they speak English. So if we can get into the top of associations and their leaders, even from the Ministry of Health, we are going to do that. And because of the uniqueness of the study, we are going to deliberately invite different scholars, different universities, so that they can share with you as many information as possible. So if we request you to repeat the presentation, it doesn't mean to make you suffer. So in the process, we are gathering as much information as possible that can help you to do your study. Remember, this is your study. The university, they're just helping you to make sure that you do the proper way.
Thank you.
Yeah, but this is your study. We are going to write officially to the Ministry of Health, South Sudan, so that we can also have some support from there.
Okay.
Yes. I personally know 2 ministers there in Health. I'll try to see if they can help. They are my colleague, and I might chat with them on WhatsApp. Let me try to see if they can help. Of course, the issue of witchcraft will come up. Why do you want me to be studying witchcraft and all those? It will come up. Now, since this is the academic papers, we need to tell them and make it. Yes, I think this is where I can end so that other people can also do. But my main point that you should get from me is let's not rush to go to the next stage. Because if we rush to go to the next stage, it's very difficult at the final stage when a lot of push information come out that you overlooked at a stage, more especially on this topic, which is very. So it's very important that you take note of the point our professors, our judges, they are giving you. Then you consider all of them seriously.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is really very helpful.
Another comment or contribution, please? Okay. If there's no contribution, if there's no comment, I think we're going to end here for today, and then expect some written comment from our judges. Except myself, I'm not part of the judges. So those comments that I have commented, just take note of them because you never see them. Okay? But our judges are going to give you those comments written. Then once they give you a comment written, then it's very easy for you to work on them. But as for me, just take note of my comment, and we're also going to share with you the same recordings so that you can catch up in case you miss one of.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. I think today I really get the inside help, and I appreciate all your support. I know the topic is very unique and is very challenging, and it really need a collaborative effort from the university and me as the students I really take note and very encouraged when you talked of the next presentation to include some, maybe an expert in traditional healers, and also maybe medical personnel, and maybe members of the policymakers. If the three stakeholders could be present in the next coming presentation, and I repeat the presentation, I think I can be able to get more insight, and I really appreciate your support for that. If you can do that, I think this will be really so helpful. I'm really passionate to ensure that this research will have a fundamental impact and will contribute for the development of the country and also even other country and Africa at large. Yeah, thank you.
So is there any other requirement, or shall we meet the other meeting? Dr. Joseph, shall I end the meeting from my side?
Dr. Joseph.